Okay, so is anybody who's going to present for Lightning Talks here yet? Because so far there is nobody. Okay. And we have 1 minute left.
Well, you know.
If somebody wants to improvise, you're welcome.
We come here.
What? Yes, but so far there is 0 people and 60 minutes. Yeah.
No one came. The previous presenter is here, and for him,
You have.
I'm not going to.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because he didn't have any information, so.
Yeah. Mail all those guys.
Yes, everything is listed here, but I didn't know nobody for that. He is here. Not participate, and so far nobody.
Okay.
So he's listed, but is he here?
She says I'm sure.
He's
not
here,
but I can do that.
Okay.
Okay. But the point is that so if nobody's coming, then I can do it after 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's what 5 minutes.
Who else is coming? Many people already there? Line up?
No, there is nobody. That's fine. No problem.
So they are okay, then I can see some of your piece value.
Yeah, do you have like slides or just want to talk to me?
I can just talk, or I have some slides also.
Yeah, we can connect here. Let's connect.
Great, great. Will you tell the thing about the tour?
Yeah. If somebody wants to go on a tour of Brno, there will be one today in the evening.
Yeah.
There is a group leaving at
7.
at 8:50. 8:50. No, 6:50. 6:50. Yeah, 10 minutes before 7. They're leaving from the entrance here outside, and otherwise you can go directly at 7:30 on Cheska near the horse and the guy with the washing machine. They will be starting the tour from there at 7:30. Okay, so for lightning talks, the time is 10 minutes per talk, but we have time for questions. Probably we have more time now, but yeah, depends on how it goes.
I think that for the idea this will be better.
Yeah, it depends.
It's only 10 minutes, so yeah. So
Okay. We're not kind of
but if anyone else
Yeah.
will present, it will be better to give them a microphone.
Okay, does it work? Just work.
Test.
Yes, so it's working. Did you get track or what? Okay, then
Sometime is sorry.
Yes, we have 6.
Perfect.
Hello, check. I'm audible to everyone? Raise your hands in the back. Fantastic. Good evening. My name is Vikram Singh. I'm working as a solution architect in Norway, so very far from here. I'm supposed to give a lightning talk. I don't know how much lightning is going to be happen, but I will try to give you the information what we are doing. Okay, first of all, let me brief my role. I look into the enterprise solutions. That means that for me, the glasses of looking into the technology is from enterprise perspective. So you guys are listening a lot about tooling technologies. I play with them almost every day, but still I don't look them from the perspective of how great they are in terms of a developer perspective, but more from the business perspective. And that's why this is what my job in every day. So I talk to the customers and say, okay, what kind of solution you can get out of it. The one thing which everyone, or is a universal constant, only constant is change. And the same is applicable in Norway, like here or like anywhere in the world. And that's the things which is driving us to have a better solution all the time to our customers. Now, this gives us quite a challenging factor. Even being an open source company, there are a lot of legacy systems, whole history, and everyone knows about that. So even though we have a very, very good solutions from technical perspective, features perspective, and very robust, still, when we talk to the customer, we have to look at the solution from different angles. So keeping this change, the customers is more and more demanding. We have to have our solutions to be implemented in a perspective which give immediate value addition to them. Well, let me tell you, where is Norway, who don't know about that. It's a very beautiful country, and I'm happy and proud to be living there. Born and brought in India, far from India, warm weather to a very cold weather in Norway. Some of the pictures, just to give you an example, and then I will come to the main topic. So beautiful, fantastic place. Come and visit us. Red Hat is there whenever you're walking there. We always welcome the people. Doesn't matter. We are open source company, and one of the main activities we do is the building the community. All right, let's come to the point. So what are the industry domains we are working? Sorry. Okay, I'll hold it. So what are the industry domains we are working, what actions we are taking, and what are the outcomes of those actions? And then certainly, what are the community drive? Being an open source company, without a community drive, we cannot survive. So let's come to the point. What are the industry domains, what we are working in Norway? So we are working almost focusing, especially let's take this year and the last year is on the financial industry, telecom, banking, public sector, and ISVs. Majority of our customers who are adopting to the new tooling and technology, let's take example, OpenShift and so on around it. I will not speak more on the products. You are listening the whole day, so I will not repeat it again and again. These are the customers who are very critical, and they have a mission-critical applications running. And for them is like all these factors, auto-scaling, high scalability, mission-critical, all those things are very, very important. We are pioneer in Red Hat, Linux. So give and take, RHEL self itself. It has the clear value propositions, but when it comes to build a complete solutions, RHEL is just an operating system. From the business perspective. The business applications is the real needs of the business where actually their functions and features run. So RHEL facilitate is a very, very the important part, but the business is interested how they can drive their processes, their functions. So it's very important, like look into the upper layer. So we are talking to these different kind of like banks, telecom, stock exchanges, a lot of other companies in various verticals. And when we are talking with them and with the solution perspective, we see that how quickly, rapidly they can build the solutions. What we are doing that, a lot of POCs, lots of pilot projects, and certainly we are looking a lot of digitalization. This is the main requirement nowadays, how to digitalize faster. And certainly when we talk about that, at the end, we need to boil down into the product and technology, and we are talking about OpenShift is like quite a great traction in Nordics, and especially in Norway. Due to some reason, I cannot give you many names of the customers, but they are like some of public references. They're available on our website. So you name it from the industry, either financial industry, or you can take it from insurance industry, bank, they are available there. Okay, so what is the outcome, finally? The outcome is that we are giving them a next generation platform. So what does this next generation does? Why they need the next generation is like the applications running on the standard infrastructure is like outdated, no more usable. No. The challenge is that now they have the demands to bring the changes into the market much faster, much faster than it used to be. And especially changes in the last 2 years to be practical. And that's how the story come of the containers and cloud computing and DevOps into the picture. So these are the primary business goals. We are helping them to develop these next generation platforms. We are helping in the migration project, in transformation projects. And then certainly, to keep the momentum and to build the community around, we have multiple events we are running throughout the year. We are trying to have meetups at least once in a month or twice in a month to keep them active and up to date, what we are doing. And this all about is building the trust and confidence. So believe it or not, until unless you cannot convince the customer that the technology itself might be very great, but the solution, you need to assure the customer that the solution, what they're going to build on those technologies is going to be even greater. It's not going to fly. All right, so let's look into the primary use cases. When we look into the perspective of their IT strategy and business goals, some of the primary use cases are self-service and automation. They wanted to came out from the era of manual provisioning. They are kind of an obsolete processes, time-consuming activities in terms of giving the solutions, developing the solutions, and the maintenance and monitoring and all those perspectives. So here come into the picture how they can automate all this through end to end, right from the moment they have provision from in the hardware up to the production when their client or consumers consume that piece of functionality. So that's the primary use case. Second is cloud and container. Containerizations, cloud, these are in the IT strategy of most of the customers we see. And then, of course, I already talked about the next generation application platform. Certainly, they are talking about different kind of an NTR architecture, distributed architecture, microservice architecture to the latest. But still, there are a lot of applications on distributed architecture, NTR architecture, which are primarily in the use case of transformation. Then, on and all, it's all about the total cost of ownership. How they can optimize their cost, how they can have a rapid application development, how they can get the features and functionality faster than their competitors. So it's all about going into those directions. So these are the primary use cases which generally define in a very, very vague manner, most of in their IT strategies, on their leadership talks, and then we need to build IT capabilities to meet these business use cases and goals. So this is what the primary use cases. Certainly, the product and technology which map to the use cases, which give the solutions, either DevOps or microservices, containers, and cloud. That's I told you that's what OpenShift is getting a more traction. This is one among many, very, very few platforms in the industry, maybe one or two, which give you a complete solution, end-to-end solution. And that's why we are able to give them platform layer, enterprise level solutioning. So, I mean, I can tell you from my experience from last almost a decade, in particular in this domain, out of total 16-year experience, this is the one product where you really can give the complete end-to-end solution. And this fascinates me and also our customers. Most of the time, they don't believe. They say, it cannot be a magic. Show me what is under the hood, how you can do that. So talking about software-defined networking, talking about the container provisioning, Kubernetes, product lifecycle management, auto scalability, all these things, they don't believe it. Simply, they don't believe it. But when you show them in pilot and POC and projects, they really take it without any objections. Certainly, there is like a stage-by-stage approach because most of the applications are key applications. So first they start with low-hanging applications, low-hanging, low-impact applications, and then go stage by stage. So what plays more role into that? Once you have OpenShift deployed, then you look into the next step. How to run your web services in different frameworks, how to consume them, how your client application going to consume them, managing the API management, and so on. This is slowly building. I'm not saying that they have end-to-end application using all the Red Hat stack in first go. It come like in stages. And then certainly our JBoss portfolio application play an important role here. Let me also talk quickly on into very important aspect that we are stronger, not only because we have intelligent solutions, robust solution, also because we are flexible, and that's the key. With this talk, with this statement, I will end it because I'm exceeding my time limit. But just please reach in and tell me if you have any questions or you wanted to know some experience about our journey. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Let's see who of our speakers else has joined. Okay, so who else is here from the speakers? I see one. Is Boaz Schuster here? Huh? No. Then Jason Mayer. No. Then Jan Silhan. Huh? Here. Okay, so you're next. So I have 10 minutes total. I will close the time when it's running out. Use the microphone. Does it work? Is it HDMI, right? Okay, works over there. This is what they see. Okay, let's welcome our next speaker.
Hi, I'm Honza Shilhan, and I will be representing the DNF team. So I will basically explain what our team did over the past year and what is the future plan. So if you don't know, DNF is the package manager in Fedora. So in the past year, we have made a big release, which is called DNF 2.0. We made it more user-friendly. So currently, we are letting users to query the plugins better way. They can see help of these plugins. In transaction summaries, we are not only showing why some packages were skipped and not pulled into transactions because of dependency errors, we also show which packages are getting installed because of their weak dependencies. The most requested feature so far was to improve debugging messages when DNF ran into dependency error. So we have solved that in DNF 2.0. You can try it out. By the way, DNF 2.0 is in Rawhide only. So you have to install it from there. We are also handling better obsolete packages. So there are no packages issues now with regard to obsoletes, and we have moved repo query and protected packages functionality from plugin score into DNF itself. But still, mostly we are working on YAM command line compatibility. So we have made a security plugin. So now you can apply or install specific package based on bug fix, or you can install just security updates. We have also made check and repo info additional commands from YAM, and shell and swap is already in upstream, but we have not released DNF version yet. So we implemented also 10 configuration options from YAM, And so far, DNF provided YAM executable, which redirected to DNF backend. Now it actually executes DNF with default YAM configuration options. So what happened in DNF stack? We have merged one of our libraries called Hockey with libhiv, that's the library of package-kit, and created new one, libdnf. So now we have one shared common piece of code and share it with package-kit, RPM, OS3, and DNF. This will enable us to use one common shared software database, and also, don't duplicate the code in DNF and package-kit. So actually also microdnf uses libdnf. Microdnf is small package manager which provides just install, remove, clean all, and update commands. It's especially useful in containers because it does not have Python dependency, and you can try it from Fedora Rawhide. We would appreciate any feedback. So, what's the plan for the next year? We will still be continuing to improve DNF with regard to YAM compatibility. We would like to make YAML user interfaced as DNF plugins core, so you actually don't recognize that it's running DNF plugins core backend. We'd like to I've already mentioned and made a spoiler for software database, so it's common database for package-kit and DNF, which would be inside libdnf. Yeah, and that's the plan to have this, because now if you install something from package-kit and then you do DNF auto-remove in DNF, then it will actually uninstall the updates you already installed with package-kit. So now we want to tackle this problem. Yeah, and we will also work with modularity team so users can consume the new content, whatever it will be. So actually at the DevConf there will be 2 talks regarding DNF. So the first one is about delta metadata, and so currently with DNF, when some metadata changes in a repository, you have to re-download all files again. We want to solve this problem and download just differences of this metadata. So at Saturday, you can see the talk about this. It would be a long way to do this, but if you are interested in this, I would recommend this talk. And also I have talked a lot about software database. There will be talk at Sunday from its developer and integrator into DNF. He's actually there, Edo. So I would invite you to be at that presentation. So thank you for attention, and if you have any questions.
Does DNF still use /etc/yam, like yam config files?
Yeah, we tried to change it, but it still uses it.
So why didn't it work?
Yeah, because of compatibility. Yeah?
Slightly off topic, what about RPM database backend? I'm not sure, will that be implemented or
Yeah, there is Florian, but I have talked with him. It was already implemented, but nobody has the courage to put it into production in Fedora. So, or was that a secret? Any other questions?
So about obsoletes, so when upgrading to Fedora 26, are there going to be changes to our system that already had some obsolete packages? Will it pick it up and remove them?
Yeah, so if you are upgrading to Rawhide, so repeat the question. So how it currently handles obsoletes, especially when you do distribution, releases, update. So DNF 2.0 with these changes is in Rawhide, so it would work just when you update it from Fedora 26 to the newer one. Yeah, but still, DNF handles obsoletes, but sometimes you run into dependency errors that it preferred a different package. Now it actually solves it. Yeah.
What is the reason that DNF 2.0 is just in the Rawhide? Because if I would like to install to the Fedora 25, I will also need to install Python 3.6, which is not right yet.
Yeah, so the question was why DNF is just in Fedora Rawhide. That's because of its dependencies. So the dependencies is not just Python 3.6. It's because of RPM, newer RPM, and I think, yeah, and libDNF. So any other questions? Okay, no other questions. Thank you.
Next speaker, yeah. If Mario doesn't want to tell us about C, then probably fine.
So is here another speaker for lightning talk? Anybody else is here? Yeah.
Yeah, they had me last one. Okay.
So okay.
Let's see if I can get this story.
So in the meantime, I will just remind you of the Brno City Tour tonight, which will begin at 7:30 under the horse at Česká station. You can go from here at 10 to 7, which is in 20 minutes. So if anybody is interested, you can go to the tour.
Okay, that's cool. That works. All right. Hello? All right, cool. All right, so my name is Michael McEwen, and I work for Red Hat, and I'm going to talk to you about the radanalytics.io community. So what is it? To begin with, we're working on Apache Spark right now, and Apache Spark is a data processing platform that does in-memory data processing. And we're using Apache Spark with OpenShift, and we're bringing Apache Spark onto OpenShift. So right now our community is really focused on creating tools and templates and frameworks for putting this into production on OpenShift. So who is it? Well, analytics enthusiasts to begin with. We're trying to create a lot of material to help people get into analytics on top of OpenShift. We also have data scientists who are participating, people who are really interested in the Spark platform and machine learning and deep learning, these kind of things. We also have software developers, people who are interested in playing with containers, playing with Spark, playing with big data or insightful applications on top of OpenShift. And maybe some of you would be interested in playing with this, and come take a look. We have lots of tutorials and examples ready to go. So why is it? I guess this is a difficult or not so difficult question to answer, but one of the things we want to do is increase data-driven insight. So what do I mean by that? We would like to promote people to use OpenShift and frameworks like Apache Spark to create data-driven applications. What people like to call big data, we like to call data-driven insights. So you've got some data, you'd like to do insightful research or analytics on top of it, that's where we're going. Also, we want to empower developers. One of the things we really like about OpenShift is that it puts the power in the developers' hands to provision containers, to create, applications that exist in the cloud without needing to interact with an infrastructure team, for example. And finally, we want to explore emerging technologies. OpenShift, Kubernetes, Spark, these are all technologies that are being created now in the moment, and they're really fun to play with, and I think a lot of our team is excited about what these technologies can do and just what we can do with them. So where is it? Well, you can go to radanalytics.io and see our tutorial information and more about the project and links to all of our
tools and source code. You can go to github.com/radanalytics.io. We've got all of our projects there. They're all open source. You can download them, play with them, use them on local OpenShift clusters. There's a lot of great material there. So when is it? Obviously, now. We've been doing this for about a year, creating tools that can work with OpenShift and Apache Spark, and we're just starting to release a lot of this into our GitHub. But also, tomorrow we'll be doing a training session. My colleague Will and myself will be doing this. So from 1:30 to about, 4:30, we'll be creating insightful apps with Apache Spark and OpenShift. So if you want to come see kind of an example of how you can use notebooks like Jupyter with Spark on OpenShift and create applications inside those notebooks and turn them into fully cloud-native applications that can be deployed into OpenShift, come check it out. And thank you. All right. Question?
What is the name stuff? Why is it RAD?
Well, that's a long story. We had started a project a couple years ago that we called RAD. It was RAD Analytics Distribution, and we carried that name forward. So now we just call it RAD Analytics. And this is our mascot, Radley. So he's going to scare away, the big Hadoop like elephant. Any other questions?
How does the data get into there? But that will be tomorrow, right?
Yeah, well, in general, it's Apache Spark. So you're creating Spark applications. Normally, you ingest data from kind of cloud sources, so databases or streaming or some sort of object store. Anything that you might access in that manner. Yeah. Any other questions? All right, thanks for your time.
So probably less speaker for today, unless somebody else wants to tell us something as well. Yeah, this one shows.
Hello, good evening. So thanks for those of you who stayed. I didn't prepare this talk, so it just came very spontaneous. So I wanted to ask who here lives in Brno? Okay, good part of us, me too. My name is Rodolfo. I work at Red Hat with OpenShift. And one of the things that I like about development is this thing called test-driven development. Is anybody here familiar with that? Yeah, okay, so most of you, and do you practice it every day or often enough? No. Okay, great. So, test-driven development. I just want to give a few words about it. Don't bore you so much, and then you can go. If you know Brno, you don't need to visit it. But so about development, I don't want to talk about TDD as something that is magical and silver bullet. It's just another methodology or a coding style. So you can use it as a tool. It's a tool that requires a lot of discipline. So I think that's why most people raise their hands when they know what is it, and then nobody actually uses it. So I'll just ask you about testing. So I think everybody here agrees that testing is something probably mission critical. So do you ship software without testing? I'll not hear you. I guess no, right? So when you're doing testing, you could go for manual testing, and that's really a bad decision because that's hard to reproduce. It works on my machine style of thing. So for me, if you're doing testing, you want something reproducible, and therefore you're going to do something automated. And then the question becomes, are you going to test before you implement or after you implement? So for those who are not doing TDD, you're probably either writing your tests later or you have some test team or QE team that do it for you. But I try to believe in software, I put some responsibility to it. I think I'm responsible for the things that I'm shipping, and I feel like testing it gives kind of the confidence level that I need to feel good about my work. You guys said that you're familiar with TDD, so just quick review is that it's an evolutive process to how you write your programs. First thing you do is you write a test case, and then you see it fail. Obviously, because there's no code to implement that functionality, then you're gonna implement enough functionality to make that test pass, and you keep repeating this cycle, right? So this is very good for like preventing you from the white screen syndrome, where you're faced with a problem and you have no idea where to start. So if you follow this, of course, like this is something you learn how to do it, but if you follow this, you start to be able to, even given a problem you have no idea how to solve, you're gonna figure it out like, okay, there's part of it I know how to describe and I know how to solve it, and it allows you to move forward. So the driven part about TDD is something that is not always very well understood as well. So TDD is not just like some craziness about writing tests that always fail, but it also helps you define the intent behavior of your software. So when you're giving like the specs of a program you need to write, sometimes you just like have some ideas. We as programmers tend to generalize a lot, right? Often way too much, and we're trying to think like far ahead of what is actually needed. So when you're writing the test case, it helps you define what is the behavior you actually intend. And this is like gives you that chance to reason before you sit and code, right? So this works as like another way of thinking about the problem, right? And the other point that I have there is that it also helps you think about your code from an external perspective. So you normally have a better way of writing a cool API, right? That is, if it's easier to test, it's possibly also easier to use. Yeah, so that's about all I wanted to talk about. And if you actually want to practice, we have a community here in Brno that practice TDD every week. And I believe that building a community of learning anything you want is a good way. So like you're not supposed to learn things alone, but actually learn from and with other people. And this community is called the Coding Dojo Brno. You can find it in dojo-brno.github.io or facebook.com/codingdojobrno if you're interested. And thanks for your attention. Any questions? No? Okay, so we are language agnostic. So sometimes we use Go, we've used Python. We're really free. There are like a lot of aspects about agile methodologies that we use. So pair programming, TDD is one of them that I talked about now. But the language is not something like written in stone. Any more questions? Nope? Okay, I think we're good. Thank you.
There was a tour leaving in 10 minutes. People are leaving the center in 10 minutes, and then there is a tour of Brno. Otherwise, see you tomorrow. We just need to make sure everybody leaves, and then we can wait for the guys for what's his name to come with Christian. We can D102 is This is mute.